Welcome to the forum again. It is indeed my pleasure to be here with you and share with you some of our thoughts and strategies around Microsoft and Dell storage solutions. A quick look at the agenda for today. So I'm going to start off by just giving you a gist of introduction of what we have been doing around storage for the last more than a decade, followed by our flagship Windows Storage Server OEM product line, which is basically running a lot of file storage out there which is available, which you are currently using as well. I'm going to then shift gears and talk about storage in the context of virtualization and private cloud. Of course, in 20 minutes I can only cover some part of it. Also share with you some of the enhancements we have made around HyperV from a storage perspective, this being a storage forum, and then leave you with some thoughts on some of the reference architectures that we've created between Microsoft and Dell for you to leverage as well. Okay, so sorry for that. We seem to have a challenge with the slide. Let me talk through it. No problems in that. So back in 2000, we started off our journey in the storage with our first release of Windows-based NAS, right? And ever since we haven't looked back. In 2003, we launched our Windows Storage Server 2003, right, which powered a lot of OEM-based file storage solutions at that point in time. Subsequently, we ended up providing multiple releases and feature additions to the Windows Storage Server, and also came out with solutions for the virtualization world through our System Center suite, which not only helps you manage and monitor those storage solutions more effectively, both physical and in the virtual world and in the cloud world, but also for your business continuity and disaster recovery needs, right? So as we speak, we are on Windows Storage Server 2008 R2, and in 2012, which is the year now, we have made considerable advancements into our System Center product line as well, including System Center Data Protection Manager for your business continuity, which is also in its current latest version as well. So at this point in time, let me share with you what exactly is Windows Storage Server, right? And obviously, many of you use it without maybe even knowing that you use it, right? First of all, it is built on the highly robust server platform, the Windows Server 2008 R2, the operating system which you use in your mission critical environments, almost on a day-to-day basis, right? So it is built on that. Added to that is storage specific features, features which relate to management of the underlying storage stack, features which relate to deduplication like the single instance storage, features which could actually span across beyond file based storage to block level targets through iSCSI support, features for remote heterogeneous management, so whether you have a Windows or a non-Windows client remotely managing that infrastructure, it's all supported. Now all these storage specific features put together with the Windows Server 2008 R2, along with hardware and software stacks from our OEM partners like Dell, really constitutes this entire solution, right? So Windows Storage Server is primarily sold through the OEM route, and that's where I said that you already use it, maybe without even knowing it. So what all of this results in a very highly scalable, available solution for your file storage, for unified storage as well. These are pre-configured solutions, out of the box experience for you as far as you are concerned. And the whole objective is to provide you efficient and more scalable storage solutions, right? So three building blocks or three pillars on which this technology is really built, the Windows Storage Server, right? First of all, as I mentioned, it is built on the highly robust, scalable, mission critical operating system platform, which is Windows Server 2008 R2 itself, right? There is support for heterogeneous file access built in out there. You have SMB for your Windows based workloads, you have NFS for non-Windows workloads, highly available file services, so you have support for full-fledged cluster configurations, as well as file classification, automatic file classification based on some predefined conditions that you may have so that you can define whether this data needs to be kept or not, where it has to be backed up and how it has to be backed up, right? The second pillar is around some of the advanced technologies. As I mentioned, this is a platform for unified storage as well, right? So which means you have do not only have support for file storage, you also have storage for block-based support for block-based storage, through iSCSI targets, and a very, very robust deduplication technology in single instance storage. SIS will actually find out if there is any multiple versions of the same file existing, and will replace all of those with some sort of pointers and keep only one single version in maybe a centralized shared location, right? And this technology is not only used in storage, but could also be used in the operating system itself, or could be used while backing up, right? So the possibilities are immense. A very, very efficient way of having deduplication built into your file storage. The third pillar is about the simplicity in deployment and management as well, right? So it is a headless implementation, which means you have out-of-the-box management possible. It has remote RDP client already built in, heterogeneous, so whether it is a .NET client or a Java client, doesn't matter, right? You can simply manage it remotely out of the box, and supports very, very simple setups for HA and clustering and overall management bit, right? So as I mentioned, for you, it is a one comprehensive solution which our partners like Dell will deliver to you, okay? Not going to go deeper into this slide, but there are 4 different variants of Windows Storage Server that exist, right? So on the left-hand side of the slide, there are 2 versions which are primarily for the small workgroup kind of environments, with a limited set of users, right? So really the entry-level, file storage for the entry level of the market, right? On the right-hand side of the slide, you have the standard and the enterprise versions, right? So the standard version starts off with, first of all, unlimited capacity, unlimited number of users, and also deduplication technology is built in, right? And of course, they are all heterogeneous, and all the features that I earlier talked about are intact, in the standard version. And the enterprise version has all the features of standard. It also has, in addition to those, HA and clustering capabilities, right? And really takes the whole game to the next level, right? As far as your file storage goes. So Dell actually uses Windows Storage Server 2008 R2 and a variety of offerings that currently used from Dell as well. So the entire NX 3000 series, 3100 series, the NX 200 and 300, which are the entry level boxes, all of them actually are powered by the Windows Storage Server 2008 R2 as well. Okay. At this point in time, let me change gears and let me bring about the discussion on storage in virtualized environments, storage in cloud environments as well, right? Now, HyperV needs no introduction. HyperV is industry's leading hypervisor platform for virtualized environments in private cloud and public cloud as well. HyperV is also the fastest growing hypervisor platform, and perhaps the most cost-effective hypervisor platform available in the industry today. So besides all the inherent features, that make it the fastest growing hypervisor, we have continued to innovate, right? So the next release of hypervisor, or HyperV, also has, hundreds of new features that we are going to introduce. Wanted to call out very, very storage-specific features that, are in line with the theme of the event today, right? So first of all, we have virtual fiber channel support, so which means you can have virtual machines access the storage or the SAN storage directly, right? So without having the need for having any hardware intervention in between. You have support for up to 64 terabytes of virtual hard disk, right? Virtual hard disk is the hard disk, for virtual machines, simply put, right? So current set of technologies only support 2 terabytes or maybe the likes. We have a quantum jump. We're supporting almost like 64 terabytes of virtual hard disk in a virtual machine. And offloaded data transfer, which means you can really absolve the OS from the task of data transfer and really offload it to SAN fabric or the storage, which is once again ODX aware, right? So the Hyper-V supports that, resulting in tremendous savings in terms of data transfer times that you require as well. Data at rest, security. So we have BitLocker encryption, now available in virtualized environments, right, for the virtual disk itself, for disks in the cluster shared volumes, for even offers volume level encryption, and a lot of industries that you belong to require that for compliance, for example, right? So very, very compelling feature once again. And of course, we've brought in live storage migration as well, right? So as I mentioned, this is just a subset of what we're doing with HyperV. It's the most exciting platform, and we'd love to talk more about this platform to you, offline as well as outside in the booth areas after this presentation, if you need so. And DPM, or the Data Protection Manager, this is our platform for continuous data protection and disaster recovery, right? So right from disk to disk, and let me build this slide actually. Right from disk to disk or disk to tape or disk to tape, right, whichever topology you work in, this works continuously within the data center, continuously protecting your data to disk or to tape, or go across the DR side, to replicate your data to your DR site as well for business continuity, right? So DPM, and by the way, for most of the, while it is heterogeneous solution, for most of the Microsoft workloads itself, we have the industry leading performance as you can expect. And most of these, workloads that you see on the left hand side, whether it is Exchange or SQL or, SharePoint, you use that on a daily basis in your environments, right? So we can give you best of the breed, tightly integrated solutions, that can give you both the best of the breeds of applications and the best of the breed of hypervisor, along with best of the breed, disaster recovery solution sets as well. Let me bring out what we have been doing together with Dell, besides Windows Storage Server OEM relationship as well. So we actually have jointly validated infrastructure building blocks with Dell, right? This is the program is called as the HyperV Cloud Fast Track program. And this is an entire stack. This is a pre-configured, pre-validated building block for the cloud, right? So when I say pre-validated, pre-configured, which means you exactly know how much space it will consume, you exactly know how many VMs it will, support out of the box, you exactly know what is the scalability, to which, you can take it to, how much power it is going to consume, how much of cooling it will require, right? And by the way, support comes from Dell directly on this. So this is sold as a single SKU to you, right? Whereas it has multiple components, So right at the base, you have, industry-leading servers and storage solutions and network solutions from Dell. In this example, I've shown an EcoLogic box, and together with, the fabric management and the infrastructure management frameworks like the OpenManage and the VIS Advanced Infrastructure Manager, which actually tightly integrate this entire solution with the System Center suite from Microsoft, right? Both Hyper-V as well as the System Center Management suite from Microsoft, and together with the VIS Self-Service Creator, you have a complete cloud stack, which is ready, which is supported by one single entity, and which has, very, very predictable, scalable performance, and highly secure performance as well. I talked about OpenManage, right? And this actually, leads to more such things as to, things that we're doing together, right, between Microsoft and Dell. So, for example, OpenManage, these are monitoring tools for the Microsoft System Center, right? So you have, tool sets or management suites or management packs which allow all of these underlying infrastructure building blocks and their element management bits to be, orchestrated right from a managed or monitored rather directly from System Center, right? So for example, from a storage perspective, you have a Dell EcoLogic storage management pack for System Center, operations manager, SCOM. So right from SCOM, you will be able to not only very effectively, monitor the entire usage, the entire changes that are happening in the storage world, and same way, it exists for the rest of the stack as well, right? So that goes on to the kind of work we're doing together at the engineering level as well, right? So it's not just about, we standing in a forum and, talking about each other as well, right? And I'll give you more proof points as well. So obviously, as I love to call, we also drink each other's champagne before we let you taste it, right? So a slight twist to the common dialogue that you had heard in many forums, right? So Dell actually, for example, have standardized on Microsoft Exchange as their messaging solution, right? And this itself, has a jointly architected, solution that they implemented, which is available in the form of a public case study, right, using Ecologic storage, right. So if you look at the slide, the white paper, and look at the business benefits, that it brings to the table, right, maybe it's not readable. Dell was able to provide up to twice the mailbox size while still leaving a headroom of 100% for scalability and growth, and bringing the ease of management, that is required from a solution like that, implemented in a record time, right. So as you can see in, Dell IT's own words, perhaps the most smoothest, install that they ever did in their IT, right. So very, very good proof point of how you can leverage, our jointly validated solutions and our joint adoption of each of these technologies, in your environments without having to worry about what works with what, right. Okay. So same way, at Microsoft, we also use a lot of Dell components. Of course, Dell servers goes without saying, but compelling storage, we use it in our global call centers, the data centers that service the global call centers. And one of the primary reasons why Microsoft IT actually chose this solution over any other solution is simply because of the kind of integration it has with the HyperV, our hypervisor platform, because obviously we have a lot of virtual machines out there in our environments, right. So very, very tight integration, complete automation that we could achieve, and of course as a solution, Compellent, is highly scalable enterprise grade, which means, it does not require any forklift kind of upgrades, scalability is, right there within the box that you can achieve, right. So very, very compelling story once again. And here is another example of what we do together, right, along with a third-party ISV partner, for example, right. So here is the stack which talks about Microsoft SharePoint infrastructure automation or infrastructure automation optimization solution that Dell has, right. So right at the building block, of course, you have Dell services for Microsoft SharePoint. You have Dell's DX object storage, out there. You have a ISV partner, a common ISV partner called AviPoint, and the DocAvi solution, which actually DocAvi is a solution that actually helps automate, further improve performance of SharePoint deployments, as well as recovery, backup and recovery in case of any failures, right. So very, very compelling joint solution. Of course, the entire application stack and the lifecycle management stack, Microsoft best practices really incorporated into this joint solution that we have with Dell. What it could achieve, what it could mean to you, is almost 40% increase in application performance, right. And SharePoint is industry's leading solution, which enterprises like you use for leveraging your enterprise content. You could do anything with that content with SharePoint, right. And SharePoint, we have a jointly validated solution, that Dell has along with our ecosystem partners, right. Up to 32x improvement in backup and recovery times, right. Again, a big achievement just in case anything goes wrong. So these are some proof points that I wanted to bring to the table. And between Dell and Microsoft, we will continue to innovate. We'll continue to provide you our jointly validated solution stacks, reference architectures. We'll continue to bring to you most of those innovations ahead of the curve. And this is what I had for the day. Thank you so much for your time today. Really my pleasure to be in an audience and forum like that. I will be around in the booth area for any offline discussions if you may have. I appreciate your time. Have a great day ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sumit, for that wonderful session.